Hey guys, it's your girl Abby and I'm back with another video. In this video, we are going to be talking about love, dating, attention, and affection because these are some of the realizations that I have come to in my own life and my own experience with dating, because as of recently, I put myself back into the dating market and I have not dated for about 2 years since my last relationship, because I personally felt like I wasn't ready and I wasn't in the right headspace or the headspace that I wanted to be in when going about finding like a serious relationship. Just some background for you guys. I am not someone that dates casually. I'm not someone that enjoys going out with people if it's not really going to lead into anything serious. I tend to have my mind focused towards long-term relationships in the form of marriage and long-term partnerships, but someone that I can build a life with. And so I thought that if I wasn't in the headspace to actually receive that or go about choosing people that would fit that lifestyle with me, if I wasn't able to make those decisions wisely and in the headspace for that, then I did not want to be involved. I did not want to get myself into another situation, okay? Another situation regretting the decisions I made. And so I completely removed myself from the scene, and it wasn't until recently that I put myself back in there and learned a lot. And so I'm going to be sharing some of the things that I learned along my journey, and maybe it could be helpful for you and maybe you could relate. And so yeah, let's get into it and let's talk all things dating, attention, affection, everything, okay? Everything. Let's get into it. The attention does not equal how they actually feel about you. In the beginning, there's going to be a lot of attention that is given to you. There's going to be a lot of interest that is spiked, but that does not mean that they care about you. And I think sometimes when we get these lines blurred, we end up going into relationships and jumping into things a lot more fast than we should. Because in reality, a long-lasting, healthy relationship takes time, and it's building one brick at a time. This is not something that I am used to. This is not something that is the norm for me, if I'm being honest. I tend to jump into things very quickly, and so this time around, I'm starting to see myself and I'm starting to realize the habits that I have. You know, usually I get a bit of attention and I'm instantly hooked. I think that the attention means that we're building and we're growing, but in actuality, a healthy and a loving relationship, when you're with someone that genuinely cares about who you are as a person, is going to want to take things slow and is going to want to lay one brick at a time. That fast thing, that jump into a relationship thing, that running for the hills thing is not it. You skip all the steps that you need to skip in order to build the foundation for your long-lasting, healthy relationship. And so I guess the moral or the gist of this is don't get into things too quickly and appreciate the slowness, appreciate the building and the laying of brick by brick, and also understand that the attention you are getting is not always a reflection of what you're building. Be wise and understand that people are people and that we all have different things going on. You know, an analogy that I kind of used to understand this for myself, and this is gonna sound a little bit silly, but I hope you get the point. The analogy I had for myself is, a lot of people see you like a monkey in a zoo. I know this sounds silly, but a lot of people will see you as if you are a form of entertainment. And I know it's harsh. And it's a pretty tough pill to swallow, but I had to swallow it for myself. I'm different in the way that I dress sometimes. I'm different in the way that I wear my hair. It's wild, it's free, it's all these things that are not so much your norm. And so a lot of people have interest in me. A lot of people are intrigued in me. Kind of like when you go to the zoo and you see the monkey and you're looking at the monkey and you're like, oh, this monkey looks like me. Ooh, this monkey has thumbs like me. It can hold a banana in the same way that I hold a sandwich. It can communicate in the same way that I can. It's me in a sense. I'm seeing a reflection of me, but it's also very different. It's also not me. And so a lot of people are interested in that, and a lot of people are intrigued in that. But when we take that intrigue or that interest as affection, as something when we confuse that with someone being genuinely interested in who we are, that's when we get confused. And that's when we start losing the plot. Because in actuality, a lot of people, and this is not to sound negative, not everybody, but a lot of people will be interested in you for the resemblance they see in you or the difference that is in you. And so as me, being the one that has to filter these things out, I have to be aware of that, and I have to understand that not everybody that gives me attention is necessarily interested in me. Not everybody that wants to get to know me genuinely cares about me. And I know this sounds super silly, and some people might naturally come to these conclusions, but for someone that is like me and tends to be somewhat silly in these relationships and situationships and love and life and all these things, you really got to remind yourself of these things. You really got to write it down and remind yourself that the attention is not affection. And I think there are a couple things that can kind of reflect when someone is truly cares about you and when someone truly has that affection towards you. And a lot of times we see that in the actions, right? We've all heard it before, that actions speak louder than words. Actions speak louder than words. And I need you to take that and I need you to print it and I need you to stick it on your heart. You need to understand that actions always speak louder. And so when someone is interested in you and they're giving you attention, do not base anything off of the attention. Do not base anything off of the words that they say or the seeming, the assumption that you make, right? What you need to base things off of are the action. Does this person put in the effort? Does this person take the action to see me, to make a connection with me, to learn about me, right? And that shows up in the time that you give to people. That shows up in the time that you are putting in to get to know someone. Is this person taking the time out of their day, their schedule, to be in connection with you, to communicate with you, to schedule dates, to go out, to maintain this connection that could potentially build, right? Actions are so much more dense than words. The thing that I always try and remind myself is that words are hollow, meaning that there is nothing inside of words. It's empty. It's easy to say something. It's easy to say something that sounds good. It's easy to say something to persuade someone, but the actions that someone does is dense. There's a lot that goes into action. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes discipline to follow through with your actions. And so actions are what you need to base things off of. Actions are what are dense. Do not rely on the hollowness of the words that people will tell you. You will end up empty like those words. And so be wise and be aware so that you don't end up in those situations. I don't really know how I'm going to move forward, but I'm definitely going to be more aware and observant with the effort that I put in. I tend to lean more towards an anxious attachment style, and so I definitely do have a tendency to cling on to people and want to establish a connection super fast, because it's deep rooted. We can get into attachment styles and the roots of where they come from and how they manifest in your life, but I think what I'm trying to do now is really through prayer, just pray over myself and really ask God to help me understand my worth so that I don't sell it short for anyone else. And I think that's more so moving into a secure attachment where I realize that the affection or the attention someone gives me, whether someone wants to be with me or not, it's not necessarily a reflection of who I am. And so therefore I don't have to hold on to any connection that comes my way because of the fear of letting go of it, because I think that them not liking me or them not wanting to be with me means that I'm not worthy, right? Moving towards a secure attachment is understanding that people come and go and that it's not a reflection of you. Your confidence still remains in the passage of people in your life. And so for me, that does not come naturally, and that does not, that's not in the back of my brain. In the back of my brain, I'm if you leave, you hate me and there's something wrong with me. And so I'm really trying to get to the point where I can be secure in who I am with the passage of people that come in and out of my life. And so for me, I have really been in my prayers God, please do not let me sell myself short for what I think I need, for what I think this person is validating in me. Do not let me sell myself short. Whatever you have to do to kind of like remind yourself that, definitely do it, because you don't want to get in that cycle of like attachment. You don't want to get in that cycle. It's a negative cycle that genuinely destroys you from the inside out, right? Like, I think sometimes we don't realize that your relationship life actually affects everything in your life. And so if you don't have like a healthy relationship with relationships, then it's going to affect, and I don't know, for me, it affects my mood. It affects the way that I can show up. It affects, mainly it affects my mood, you know? And so, I don't know. This stage of my life is really about getting that aspect of my life, the relationship aspect of my life, is really getting it in order and getting it to a point where it's healthy, getting it to a point where I can be in loving connections without feeling like I have to beg for attention or that I need attention to satisfy the craving of being accepted. That was a little deep. I hope it wasn't too much, but comment down below if you can relate and if you are interested in attachment styles and kind of getting into that, because we can definitely dive into anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, secure attachment, and what it means to exist on either side of that spectrum. Because I've definitely read a lot about it, and it has really helped me understand myself and understand the people that I interact with. So I would definitely love to share that with you guys, and I think it would be helpful. But comment down below if that's something that you're interested in. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you guys with a couple pointers. Know your worth and know what you deserve, and know that whether someone gives you attention or not, it is not a reflection of who you are. Okay? Do not confuse the attention that someone gives you for the affection that you want to receive. You are not a monkey in the zoo. I know this sounds like a silly analogy, but sometimes people will come and look at you and point at you because you're different and because you're interesting and they're intrigued. But do not let that blind you, and do not let that be the thing that sells yourself short. You are so much more. You are so much more than the intrigued interest of anyone. You have depth, and you are lovable, and you are worthy. Do not let anybody confuse you. Do not let anyone sell yourself short. Know who you are. I love you, and I'll see you guys in another video. Peace and love, and bye for now.